Welcome to the Disagreeable Nerd podcast, a podcast where nerds from various ages and backgrounds get together to discuss movies, TV, books, and anything else that pops into their small, simple minds. Now sit back, relax, and let their ignorance wash over you.
And welcome to Disagreeable Nerd, episode 107. Welcome back.
What up, nerds?
Everybody. It's been a while. Sharde.
It's been too long, actually.
It's been too long.
It's all your fault.
Whose fault is it?
Yours.
My fault?
Yep.
Port planting. My bad.
Port or pour?
Pour at. Port. I love a port. You like port?
It's been a while since I've had port, and I enjoy
It's what
port.
Podark likes to drink.
I do enjoy port. It's very sweet, but not sweet is weird. It's
also
like this
high alcohol content.
That's why Gabby likes it. Be honest,
Really good.
Gabby.
I'm all about that. And give me them ABVs.
It's not all about the ABVs,
It's all
idiot.
about the ABVs.
True alcohol.
So I'm Gabby. That's
Sharde.
That there is
That
Sharde.
there. This
That
there.
We're going to discuss spy movies and my review of James Bond. No Time to Die.
No time
I watched
to
it
die.
alone. Actually, me and Jerry of Board Game Snobs went to watch it together, and I'll discuss that later. But what we're going to discuss is, this came up in conversation.
Yes, between
So
me
Jerry
and
says, we're going to go watch No Time to Die. I said, of course. How many tickets should we get? Well, we're like, we want to go. We went like Thursday, the day it come out, like the opening day.
The premiere.
The premiere of the show. We went to a 6:00 viewing, and Jerry says, does Sharde want to go? So I asked Sharde, I'm like, because previously I remember her saying she doesn't like that style of movies, spy movies. So I asked Sharde, do you want to go watch James Bond? No.
And Gabby was deeply offended.
My heart breaks. Disappointment sets in.
Did you tell Jerry how
I
I
go
felt?
without you. Yes. And
What did
he's
he
like,
say?
what an idiot.
Of course he did.
So we go watch the movie.
I don't expect anything less.
And then we come back. And then the next day I'm having a conversation. I'm like, what is it that you don't like about James Bond? Because she does enjoy other spy genre films, such as Mission Impossible. So what is it that you like about Mission Impossible?
Mission Impossible. Okay, for one, Tom Cruise.
Or start from the beginning. Like, did you initially like Mission Impossible?
you want me to start?
When did you start
you want
watching
me to start from the beginning?
Yes.
Okay, so in the beginning, I was in a womb. And then I was born.
A womb with a view?
Yes. Okay, anyways.
A kill.
Stop.
That's a James Bond.
I didn't really.
So
I originally did not like Mission Impossible movies, and I don't really know why I didn't. I guess I just thought I won't like all that action.
Okay, but when you say that, did you see them and didn't like them, or you just didn't like the concept? You like, I have zero desire to go watch this movie.
I just saw trailers and I just didn't have a desire.
Fine.
But you know, one of my brothers, I was 16, and at the time I'm an ex-pirate, and I used to do those kind of things. And I remember I used to not bootleg, but I used to download movies.
FBI's listening.
I used to download movies
Was
online.
it more than 7 years ago? We're safe.
Okay, I was.
Statute of limitations is up.
16.
Well, let's say, how old are you? let's make it 14.
Okay. Anyways, I found out how to download like really quality movies, like 1080, 720 copies of different stuff. And I saw like Ghost Protocol, because that's what the one I was someone recommended it, my brother. And I was
you could have skipped this whole pirate thing and just say, I saw Ghost Protocol.
Well, that's how it worked, though. That's exactly how I watched it.
We could have just left this whole pirate thing out.
But why?
Because, that's like something you shouldn't do.
Oh, really? But my brother said it was legal.
Well, your brother lied to you.
He didn't know. Anyways, can we keep that in? Keep it in.
You have shut down my internet before.
That was the past. that was
more than 7 years ago.
Yeah, I was still. We don't have to talk about it. Hey,
okay,
wait,
so
let me finish.
Ghost Protocol. Go ahead.
So, anyways, I gave it a chance, and I watched it after I downloaded it, and I absolutely loved it. And I thought, what the heck? Why did I not think I was gonna? Why did I think I wasn't gonna like this movie? And so that was the only one I had seen.
So what did you like about it?
Oh, okay. So not only I like Tom Cruise for one.
Cliche.
He is hot. Just kidding. That's not
Even though his teeth don't align with.
Why is everybody get off of his teeth? Everyone has flaws now. No, I think liked everybody, the surrounding characters, and it was a fun spy movie, but also kind of had, its dark elements to it. And I like spy movies where you as an audience don't really know what's going on, and you feel like everything's about to end bad, but they're secretly like they actually got it under control.
They've prepared for this.
They got all of it.
Yeah.
And I love all the disguises and
double crosses, triple crosses.
I love it, and it was funny and not heartfelt. Sorry, it wasn't as dark.
There had some heartfelt moments with his wife there at the end.
Yeah. What's his name? My favorite character is
the Simon Pegg guy.
Simon Pegg. His name is not Brownie, right? It's not Brownie.
I'm not prepared.
Wait, why
for
did I
this.
say Brownie?
I don't know.
That's not right. His name was something like I don't know.
Continue.
Anyway, Simon Pegg, I really like him. Like, he was like one of my favorite parts of Mission Impossible, along with, Tom Cruise, obviously, and like his crew. I just love his crew. Benji, that's right. Why did I say Brownie? Well, they both start with a B. Benji. It was
Jeremy Renner.
And Jeremy was in it. He was okay.
I didn't care for, I've never cared for Jeremy Renner. Like, he is about as vanilla as you can get. But really liked the element of humor that, they introduced Benji, Simon Pegg, in Mission Impossible 3. They carried him over into 4. And I think 4 is where they really kicked off this group, like a
crew.
A crew that is supporting him.
Yeah, and like Luther,
like one he had it. One in Mission Impossible 1, he had a crew, but they all die within the first few months of it. And 2, it's like him by himself, other than Ving Rhames, Luther.
Luther, yeah.
And 3 is where he brought in Benji, but then like from 4 on, he kind of always has this crew, which I like. I really liked Mission Impossible 3. I really liked Mission Impossible 2 because it was the director. I can't think of the director's name. James Woo. Slow-mo, doves, super cheesy. Tandy Newton. I loved it growing up. I don't know that it's aged well, but
I actually feel like I may or may not have saw part 2 when I was maybe 14 or something on TV, but it was like on TV, I didn't like see it from the beginning, and I just kind of started watching it, but that was kind of... 2
is very of its time. Like, it is completely... Let me see when 2 was made. We got the whole list here.
Oh, wait, what was the
2000.
one?
It came out in 2000, so it had some 90s vibes to it. Tom had the long hair, the crotch rockets fighting each other, jousting style. The slow-mo, it had the gladiator type music in it there at the end. Love 2. Super like melodramatic. 3, love 3. That's the one J.J. Abrams directs. Philip Seymour Hoffman.
Oh my God.
Philip Seymour Hoffman was freaking fantastic in it. I loved him. He finally, I think that's the one where he meets his wife, Michelle Monaghan in movie. I love 3, but then 4 is where the Mission Impossible series like starts making money and kicks off. Like Ghost Protocol was like a worldwide smash hit.
Ghost Protocol was like kind of the first movie that I had seen like from the series.
Yeah, and they got the ensemble cast. Excellent movie.
And it was so good. And
he's hanging off that building. Iconic scene.
Oh my God, yes. And like them being, they were in, were they in Egypt? Dubai. Well, somewhere like that. I just remember like the intensity of him trying not to get caught and stuff, and changing out and being on that building was pretty intense.
Yeah.
But also, you ask why I am into Mission Impossible and not James Bond. Well, here is the reason. And I'll go back to when I was in 10th grade. I was a sophomore, and my friend, he was really obsessed. One of my schoolmates was really obsessed with like James Bond and all the new ones with Daniel Craig. And me, I'm really like, okay, yeah, let me get into that. Like, what should I watch? Like, which one? And he told me to check out Casino Royale. Am I saying that right?
Casino Royale.
Royale.
Yeah.
Anyways, I was like, okay. So, I did my thing, get the movie. And I watched it or tried to, and I just thought it was so boring. Like, couldn't get into it, and that was 10th grade me. So I don't know if 25-year-old me it's gonna like change like how I feel about it if I try to watch it again. But then I watched Skyfall with you in theaters, and still same feeling, boring.
How dare you? Skyfall was amazing.
And I also told you in the conversation we had that to me James Bond is more dark. And it's not as light to me, like Mission Impossible, and not as fun. But like I said, I've only seen part of it, so I don't know. Maybe I'm missing that. But I don't really like the darkness in the spy movie.
Well, I would say the darkness comes with the Daniel Craig series. And it's like they started getting more realized. I would say the Daniel Craig series is when they really started. I think they started doing it with Pierce Brosnan series of James Bond. But the Daniel Craig series is when they really started understanding, James Bond is kind of a male chauvinist. Like he just runs around sleeping with women and doing all this stuff.
Wow.
He starts to like realize the consequences of his actions, and like he's kind of, he's not a good guy basically, but he's doing good things to help the world.
So
but
he's an
anti-hero. Like he knows he has these things in him, but he does what's necessary to help the world, even if it's not by means that many people approve of. And that's, I think, why I lean toward James Bond, especially with the Daniel Craig series, is that they really brought that to the fore, even though, well, I'd say they're badding about good. Quantum of Solace, terrible. There for a while, it was like good, bad, good, bad. But then they made Spectre. Oh my God, Spectre was awful. And then No Time to Die.
And then Skyfall.
It was Casino Royale, Quantum of Solace, Skyfall, Spectre, and now this one, No Time to Die. I don't think I'm missing anything there.
No, you did it all. I was looking.
Oh, you got it? Okay.
And
so then for me, it is good, bad, good. I'm still not going to review it yet, but so let's go to...
Have you ever seen any of the old ones?
I've seen all the James Bonds my whole life. I said this on a recent episode of Board Game Snobs. My mother loved Sean Connery, and her introduction to Sean Connery was Dr. No, the very first James Bond movie. And of course, in the 60s, 70s, 80s, even 90s, the perception of things is not what it is today, especially in the 60s, 70s, and 80s. I think, like I said, with the Pierce Brosnan movies, at some point they were like starting to think like, okay, this guy's like got issues.
And their books too, right?
Yeah, Ian Fleming wrote the books. And then the like Barbara Broccoli, this broccoli family, chopping broccoli. They brought these movies, and now it's a whole thing. But I like the James Bond movies now because they are a little more, there's a little more darkness to them I love Mission Impossible movies. I do. Fallout, Mission Impossible, the last Fallout was one of my favorite ever. Like that last 30 minutes of that movie are the most insane 30 minutes of any movie I've ever seen.
It's Fallout with Henry Cavill.
Yes.
Oh yeah, that was pretty intense.
Freaking intense.
When they were on the helicopter.
Helicopters. That was so scene. I love that movie. I love them. I love spy movies in general. And this is my thing. I like spy movies fictionalized. I love the gadgets. I love the double crosses, triple crosses. I'm not that much into spy movies real life. One of Jerry's favorite movies he talks about is Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy. There's also like Bridge of Spies. All these things are based on real life stuff. And I realize you can't have that you can't have Bond and Mission Impossible without the real life stuff. But those things, because they're real life, they're too real. These are people that actually are dying. I don't like to focus on that. I like to focus on the fun factor of being a spy.
Well, I think that's fascinating because you like James Bond and he's not as like, so you like, he's not fun. He's dark and he has all these issues.
But but that's what I'm saying. If you go back towards Sean Connery, Roger Moore, James Bond is super cheesy. It's all about fun.
So they realize
dress up in a tuxedo, do what you want, party, and you're also a super spy. Like James Bond was all about having fun. Now, I'm sure there's people that could like search deeper into meanings of these earlier movies, but no, James Bond was all about laying down with some women,
Yeah.
getting turned on some martinis, and also being freaking James Bond working for
Super
MI6.
spy.
Yes.
You know what, Gob? You say you like spy movies. I do too. I like Spy Kids.
Did you know the
Anybody?
dude from Spy Kids is married to Meghan Trainor? Did you know Meghan Trainor likes to poop with her husband beside her?
I do too, but I don't have a husband.
This was recently on Twitter. Like it blew up because Meghan Trainor says she doesn't like to go to the bathroom alone. They have side-by-side toilets. Love toilets.
That is super cool, dude. I want that.
No, I don't like anyone in the bathroom with me. Well, especially while I'm doing number 2.
I actually
It's disgusting.
feel like you're getting really aggressive about it, but let me just say this. I think one of the first spy movies was Spy Kids for me.
She's married to the Spy Kids boy.
Yeah, I didn't know that. But Spy Kids 1 and 2 and 3, I love. That's when I first got in, like the gadgets and all that. Like Spy Kids 1, when I first watched that
I watched
movie,
Spy Kids too as well.
I thought it was the best freaking spy movie I had ever seen as
Spy
a kid.
Kids or Cody Banks?
Oh my God.
Agent Cody Banks.
Agent Cody Banks. Like those are spy movies. The kiddie ones are,
But all those based on the James Bond style spy movies.
I guess they all got inspired.
Yes, they got the gadgets and this and that. The gadgets is what James Bond makes James Bond, and the puns.
Spy next door. Hey, you know what?
Jason Bourne. How do you feel about the Bourne movies?
Boring.
Bourne Ring.
Boring.
I really like the Jason Bourne movies for the action sequences. The Bourne. There's Bourne Identity.
What are you saying right now?
There's Bourne Identity Supremacy, and then like Bourne Identity Ultimatum.
Let me tell you how I feel about Bourne, which I've never seen it.
Let me tell me how you feel about something you've never seen.
I've seen bits and pieces of it. I've never actually seen it, but the trailer.
I hate the shaky cam.
Looks so boring. Like I just don't like that style. It's blue this blue
yes, it is.
I hate that.
I understand that.
I don't. It just looks depressing. Like I will get depressed watching.
And
that.
I think that's a visual. That's visually done on purpose to provide that.
No, I don't like it. I don't like that.
It's like it's bleak. This world is bleak that Jason Bourne lives in. But that rascal kicks in butt. Like they're bam, bam, bam.
Well,
he's like fighting and stuff. Beat you up with a newspaper. That rascal will take a paper and beat the crap out of you with that newspaper.
Dang. Well, I do like Matt Damon. Or not Matt Damon. Yeah, Matt Damon's in that, right?
Yes.
I do like him. But I almost was going to watch it because I like him, but I just couldn't do it.
Now, when you say you couldn't do it, did you start it?
I may or may not have downloaded those tunes.
I'll just call you, put a peg leg on you and an eye patch. Dang. Bourne Identity. Oh, I kind of peeked out on that. Bourne Identity, Bourne Supremacy, Bourne Ultimatum. Those were all 3 quality movies. Bourne Legacy needs to die in a trash fire.
God.
Also, speaking of which, Jeremy Renner. Blah, awful.
Is he in
Not
those?
to mention Jason Bourne. Bourne Identity, the way it was filmed, I really liked it. Not the way it was
What the
filmed.
crap is it even about?
The Bourne Identity is in regards to this character, Jason Bourne. He goes in, he's working for the government, and the government basically like brainwashes him into being this like super soldier fighting machine. But then something goes awry, the mission goes bad, and he loses his memory. So then he like washes up on, I forget, a boat picks him up or something. Has no idea who he is. But he's like this bad freaking fighter.
Most Wanted or something?
Yeah, like the government's after him. Basically, it's like, oh, we created this killing machine. Now we've lost him. We got to find it and get rid of it to cover up our tracks. And that's Jason Bourne. And he's like, no, you ain't covering up these tracks, bruh. And he's
So
like,
does he figure it out?
yes.
Does he become a killer again?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, he kills many, many people in the movie.
Oh my God.
But it's really good because it's really, and this come out along the same lines of Batman Begins, this whole gritty thing, realistic and gritty. And it was really good. It's not my favorite of the spy genre. I still go back to James Bond because James Bond is still almost fantastical, especially in the earlier movies, not so much the Craig movies. The Craig movies also, I would say, suffered from the whole Christopher Nolan, the freaking Batman movies. Like, everybody's like, let's make this real and gritty. And they did that with James Bond. James Bond, like, had these ridiculous gadgets and was so stupid in all the other movies. But then the Daniel Craig movies, let's make this real and gritty. But that doesn't mean it wasn't good. Casino Royale, excellent movie. Skyfall, excellent movie. Skyfall, best James Bond song ever.
I did like this song.
Adele. Let me go into, I really wanted to do a review with Jerry.
Over James Bond.
But I never know when I can talk to Jerry because...
Why don't you just talk about it now?
So I'm going to talk about it now. No Time to Die.
Question.
It's in my top 5 James Bond movies of all time.
Before you start talking about it, I need to know...
Skyfall is number 1.
Were you guys the only one in the theater?
It was the two of us. I had purchased middle seats. There was only 2 freaking other people in the whole theater. So that concerns me. This movie's going to bomb. Why was there only 2 people? It was me and Jerry in the middle, and then in the back, very back row, there was a dude in one corner and a dude in the other corner. That's also interesting. I meant to say that. I don't think James Bond is like skews towards the female audience.
Really?
No. Like, I don't know any women that are like, I love James Bond.
I knew an old lady, but it was because it was the old ones.
Like I was going to say, my mother loved James Bond. Connery.
Connery.
She loved Connery. But that was Sean Connery. But I don't know many women that are like, yeah, let's go watch the new James Bond. Yeah. I think it skews heavy towards the male audience.
I don't know.
Because he, in general, is very machismo. He's very like, I'm the man. I'm killing people. I'm laying down with a bunch of women. I'm drinking alcohol.
Maybe that's why I get really turned off by those kind
of... It could be.
Like,
it could be.
I don't care.
And that's that again, going back to the whole thing, that's been the issue with James Bond, and that's the issue they've like been trying to deal with now, is making James Bond basically kind of politically correct for the times we live in.
Yeah.
And I think they've done an excellent job, especially with the Daniel Craig series. I'm going to go in now to No Time to Die. Spoiler alert. If you do not want to know about No Time to Die, please stop listening now.
Or forever hold your peace.
Spoiler alert. No Time to Die. Spoiler alert. Do not listen to the rest of this podcast if you don't want to know. Come back when you have watched the movie.
Why do you say it so many times?
Because people don't pay attention.
Oh, okay.
Spoiler alert for No Time to Die.
You get any letter, hate mail?
No Time to Die. I did not like Spectre. I hated Spectre, actually. It was like one of the worst of the Daniel Craig series. Blofeld is like, oh, I've been here the whole time. It's been me. It's been me that's been in your life. And he's like some weird foster brother to James Bond all of a sudden. It was super weird. No Time to Die kind of deals with that. Blofeld comes back in. They kill off Blofeld, so we don't have to deal with him. But then his love interest is the love interest from Spectre. Okay, fine, whatever. I don't really feel the chemistry. They go at it real hard that James Bond loves this woman that he met in Spectre. Okay, fine.
Question: does James Bond has a continuous love interest, or does he have many love interests? No, because there's a difference. Because
James Bond in every James Bond movie up until the Daniel Craig series has a different woman every movie. And that's why it's a thing. That's what's the whole thing with James Bond and women. And that's why it's not, he will have sex with anyone. If there's a syphilitic phallus out there, he's got it. That rascal's got to have some STDs. He sleeps with anybody and everybody that can get him what he needs.
Oh my God. I think that's kind of, maybe that's why I don't like James Bond. Like, that's not a character that I want to watch.
Okay, and so that's why he probably skews heavy male.
Stand for that.
But that's what I'm saying. In this series of movies, with Daniel Craig. Daniel Craig, I don't know when Casino Royale came out. I'd have to look. But
it was 2011.
They're trying to fix that with him. He had a love interest in the first movie. She died. And like that has affected him through all these movies until Spectre. He meets Madeline. She carries over into this movie. I'm not going to go into great detail in No Time to Die. You can watch it for yourself. Is it too long? Yes. It's like 2 hours and 45 minutes. Way too long.
That's another thing. Spy movies should not be that long to me.
It's way too long. They could have cut out some stuff. But it had, for me, as a young man, I enjoyed the gadgets. Give me the super cool car that the machine guns pop out of. It had it. Give me his watch that does something cool. It had it.
What about his shoes?
His shoes, I don't think did anything.
No. Spikes?
He meets Ana de Armas. Great scene. Doesn't sleep with her either. Maybe the only person he's never slept with that's a female in his series of movies.
Weird.
From Knives Out, though, a reunion of Ana de Armas and Daniel Craig from Knives Out. Great. They were great together. Loved it. There's a scene in this in the very end where he's going up this stairwell trying to get to this control room in a tower. Super intense. Great action scene. Great set piece. Loved it. Things I didn't like, I would say, is because it tied back to Spectre. God. Hated Spectre. I really hated Spectre. I hated Spectre. It was stupid.
Jeez.
They tried, because Spectre tried to make this character Blofeld like, oh, I've been involved in your life this whole time. And it was stupid. It was stupid. I hated Spectre.
Okay, God.
But I like Christoph Waltz. Freaking amazing actor. They gave him this part that was ridiculous. But it's like this movie tied up all those loose ends from Spectre and then moved on its way, except for the fact that he was still with this Madeline character that is apparently the love of his life. Some people are saying they saw no chemistry there. I'm not going to go that far. I got into it. But for me, once again, spoiler alert for the final last time.
If you hadn't heard it the first time, then...
If you haven't heard it up until now, this is your last chance. Spoiler alert. Do not listen any further because I'm fixing to tell you something that's going to freaking blow your mind. James Bond dies.
Wow.
So he has a child. So him and Madeline have this girl.
They get their freak on.
He gets his freak on.
And get a child.
Got a child. Got to pay that alimony. Got to pay that child support. But he ain't got to pay it. MI6 going to pay it. Because guess what? James Bond is dead. So.
Didn't expect that.
James Bond has been in existence since the 60s. 70s? 60s? 70s? 80s? 90s? 2000s? 2010? That's like 70 years worth of movies.
Wow.
You get that?
Question. How'd he die?
They're creating this DNA sequencing nanobots that can like seek you out based on your DNA. Did you ever read Prey by Michael Crichton about nanotechnology?
No, I didn't, but I know what you're talking about.
Freaking amazing. They need to make that into a movie. These nanobots, if they know your DNA, if they know the sequence of your DNA, they will seek you and all your family out and kill you. Or the way they portrayed it is it can seek you and all of your kind out. So like it can seek out like all Indians, all Asians, all Africans, and just wipe them out with nanobots. Very dark stuff.
That's really dark. So.
Well, he needs to destroy all that. So to destroy all that, he has to get up into this tower, open these bay doors, allow these missiles that are incoming. They're already incoming. But if he doesn't open these bay doors, they're not going to be able to blow up what's inside. But the only chance he has, he opens them, but then somebody else closes them. So to open them back up, the missiles are already on their way, and he has to still open them up or else everything's for naught. So he gets them open back up, and he's got like just a few minutes left before the missiles get there and blow up freaking everything. So he opens them up. He's calling. He's talking to Madeline over the CB or whatever radio they got. He's telling her he loves her. I mean, it was freaking emotional. I have never cried in a James Bond movie until this movie.
So the impact was much there. Very much.
The impact, literally.
The emotional
in the movie
was there.
The bombs blew up. I have never been emotional.
Did you hold Jerry's hand?
Me and Jerry held hands and cried together. That's what Jerry said. He said, when have you ever been emotional in a James Bond movie? Never. Because James Bond doesn't die. James Bond is immortal. He doesn't die. He's bulletproof. He James freaking Bond. In this movie, they freaking killed him. It was freaking amazing.
How do you feel
and
about...
it was super impactful, and it did what it needed to do. And like, oh my God, it just, no pun intended, it blew me away. I mean, it was just freaking amazing, and not even just that. Yes, the impact, the ending was emotionally impactful. But up until then, it was an excellent movie. The scene with Ana de Armas was great. He, at the very end, he had his freaking car that did its tricks. He had a freaking watch that did its tricks. He told a ridiculous, he said like the best one-liner before the end of the movie. He's like, there was a guy that had like this electronic eye. Mm-hmm. And the electronic eye was like recording and doing all this stuff, but he was a bad guy. And James Bond had this watch that had an EMP, electromagnetic pulse, that would like wipe all that out. I'll get to that here in a second. But so like he's wrestling the guy with the electronic eye, and he triggers his watch, which EMPs the eye and basically blows up in the guy's brain. Oh. And so like Q's like, James, you there? And he's like, yeah, I was just showing him my watch. It blew his mind. Like classic James Bond. This is my thing. The reason that James Bond dies at the end of this movie is because he gets infected with the nanobots that would kill his girlfriend and daughter. They've been DNA sequenced to kill his girlfriend and daughter.
I thought maybe you were going to say you got infected with an STD for a second there.
Basically, but it said nanobots. So he knows he can't go out into the world because anybody he touches gets these nanobots and they just spread. So like, I can't go anywhere because this will eventually kill the love of my life and my child.
So these nanobots are micro, I am assuming.
Oh yeah, they're like cellular level, if not smaller.
Wow.
So he gets these nanobots on him because the main bad guy, which is the guy from Mr. Robot, I forget his name, Rami Malek, the bad guy. He like claws him at the very end and smashes this vial on him, and now James Bond has the nanobots that will kill his family, the people he loves most. So that's the reason, like, he just like goes up and he's like, I love you, boom, bombs blow up, that's the end.
It sounds like it was a very emotional.
Like we said, I've never in my life.
Did Jerry cry?
Jerry doesn't cry. I've never in my life gotten emotional at a freaking James Bond movie. They're just usually dumb fun. Oh, look, he's got cool gadgets. Oh, he beats the bad guy. That was entertaining. Moving on. This one, I was like, oh my God.
So how do you feel about, like, do you think this is the last movie?
No, they're going to reboot it. Next year, they're going to start looking for the new James Bond. But that's the thing. That's what I was saying. For a long time, there's been this talk of, is 007, is James Bond just the name given to whoever steps into this role, like in the universe. Like, you could be Paige Sharde Shepard, but hey, now that you joined MI6, now you're James Bond. And they kind of did that with this movie because there's a new, I forget her name, but she was 007. She wasn't James Bond, but she was 007.
They should make a James Bond woman.
Well, that's what they did kind of with 007. I forget. You know the girl that played Maria? I think she was Maria Rambeau in Captain Marvel?
Yes.
The mama in Captain Marvel.
Yes.
She is the new 007. So there's all kinds of speculation now of like, is the new James Bond going to be a woman? And she was a black woman. And it's like, oh, it's like a big deal because James Bond's always been an old white man. So it's like, but and then
let's get woke.
And it's like a whole thing. It's like, is 007 is just a spy title. Like 007 has come and gone. There's been lots of 006s, 007s, 008s. They die. Now you're the new 007. I was the old 007. I'm dead. Now, Sharde, you're the new 007. That's kind of thing. But James Bond specifically, that name James Bond, I feel like is the name of the person. So I feel like James Bond, unless they really change up the history, is going to be another dude.
I mean, they may. Well, I don't know if you know this, but if his kid was a dude or a girl.
She was a girl.
Maybe like in 15, 20 years.
I thought of that. I thought of that as well. I thought of that. I'm like, okay, she's going to take over James Bond. Maybe she's Jamie Bond.
Jamie
Bond. And Daniel Craig got a lot of flack because they asked him who he thinks should be the next James Bond, or could it be a woman? And I don't know that.
What did he say?
I feel like he was misunderstood, but he was like, no, James Bond is a man. It was written for a man, by a man. It's always been a man. But that's not his point. His point was that there should be more roles written for women. Could be by women or whatever. Like, why can't there just be a woman super spy?
Oh,
like, why take this character, which has clearly been a man for 70 years now?
Just make a new character?
You know how they do that a lot of times now. They gender flip it or whatever. But why?
She's all that. He's all that.
Right. There needs to be exactly. There needs to be more roles produced for women, and it'd be great if it was by women. That was, I feel, his point of view, and I think some people kind of took that wrong. Like, he's saying James Bond shouldn't be a woman. What he was saying was
sensitive.
He was saying was, in my opinion, that no, we need more roles for women, but they should be created for them. Like, why? Because everything is written for men.
Like, let a woman create a spy.
Let's create something specifically for you. And it's sad that everything is mostly for men.
It is, because that's the way
true.
it's always been.
It's a man's world.
Let's change this world.
But I freaking love No Time to Die.
Let me ask you this: what out of this entire movie, what would you rate it as 1 out of 10?
Because I hate to rate things close to when I've seen them because it kind of skews it in my brain. There are things wrong. Rami Malek is just a typical James Bond generic bad guy. And in the context of James Bond, he fulfilled that role just fine. But the feelings that I felt towards this movie, I'd give it a 9.
Dang, that's big for you,
because
man.
This is the thing. What I want from a movie, what I want from a board game, when I play it, is emotional impact.
Yeah, I agree. I like emotional impacts because then you really felt something from it. And
even if it's good or bad or what, but like, give me something. If I walk away from a movie and feel nothing emotionally, that's a failure. If it's a comedy, make me laugh, make me joyful. If it's a drama, either make me angry or make me cry.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I got it. I feel you on that.
This movie made me cry, but also I felt satisfied because he's got a freaking family now. His family's going to survive. His daughter, he fulfilled his role. He saved the freaking world. He died freaking James Bond, and it was an emotional good. And like some of these writers, the reviewers have been like, I felt like the ending was non-emotional. Like, I don't know what movie you watched because it affected me.
Maybe they have like that where they don't like emotions aren't their thing, and maybe they're just really hardcore.
I don't know. There's just been. It's got like 80-something% of Rotten Tomatoes. So the vast majority of reviewers are enjoying this movie. But anyway, No Time to Die. Freaking amazing as far as I'm concerned. And maybe someday you and I can reattempt Casino Royale.
We'll see. Is it on Netflix?
No, probably not.
Well, maybe I can download it again or something and find it and we can watch it.
By legal means.
Yes, of course.
Of course. Well, that's going to do it for this episode of Disagreeable Nerd.
And you guys, I'm sorry that you heard Gabby talk the last 30 minutes mostly. I'm sure you got really bored.
How dare you?
And really, Yoni.
Oh, my God. Well, if so,
it's okay.
Well, I don't know what to tell you.
Because it's getting posted anyways.
This is my podcast.
My podcast. And I do what I want.
That's right.
When I want. I can't stop.
I'm Gabi.
I'm Sharde. This is Disagreeable Nerd. Later, dudes.
You've done forgot how to end the show. It's been so long.
It's been too long.
Usually I say, I'm Gabi. You say, this Sharde. Later, dudes.
Later, dudes.
All right, one more time. I'm Gabi.
No, Sharde. Later, dudes.